If you keep losing money at slots, it's not bad luck. It's 5 fixable mistakes that cost you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars every time you play. I spent 15 years as a casino floor supervisor at major properties in Nevada, New Jersey, and tribal casinos across the Southwest. My job was monitoring player behavior, tracking machine performance, analyzing loss patterns, and training staff on maximizing player session time and spend. I watched the same 5 mistakes destroy bankrolls every single shift. The devastating part? Every single one of them is completely preventable once you understand what you're doing wrong. You've suspected the casino manipulates you, that you're making mistakes you don't even recognize, that there's a smarter way to play that nobody's teaching you. You're absolutely right. And these 5 reasons explain exactly why your money disappears faster than it should. Before I reveal these 5 critical mistakes, I need you to do 3 things immediately. First, hit that like button right now. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications because casinos hate this information being public. Third, comment below with your favorite slot machine and tell me honestly, do you usually leave ahead or behind? These 5 reasons aren't just theory. They're the exact patterns I documented in thousands of players over 15 years. Fix these mistakes, and you dramatically change your results. Let's start with the mistake that costs players the most money. Reason number 1, you're playing the wrong machines for your budget and goals. And this single mistake explains most slot losses. Most players lose because they sit down at fundamentally incompatible machines. Not because the casino is dishonest or the games are rigged, but because the machine's volatility doesn't match their bankroll or playing style. Volatility measures how a slot machine pays out. High volatility means massive jackpots separated by long, brutal dry spells. Extreme emotional highs when you win, devastating lows when you don't. Low volatility means smaller, more frequent wins that keep you playing longer without dramatic swings. Here's what this looks like in practice. You walk into a casino with $200. On your left, Wheel of Fortune Progressive is flashing a $2 million jackpot. On your right, Quick Hit Platinum is quietly paying small, consistent wins every few spins. Both look entertaining. Both seem like slot machines. But they're fundamentally different games engineered for completely different player profiles. The Wheel of Fortune is high volatility. You could lose your entire $200 in 30 minutes without triggering a single meaningful bonus. Or you could hit that $2 million jackpot. Extreme variance. Massive risk. The Quick Hit is low volatility. You'll probably get steady small wins that extend your playtime significantly. You won't hit life-changing money, but you won't get destroyed instantly either. If you're playing high-volatility machines with a small bankroll, you're setting yourself up for guaranteed failure. The mathematics doesn't support your strategy. Here's the insider formula I use to help players. Large jackpots plus small bets equals high risk and rapid loss. Modest prizes plus frequent wins equals low risk and extended play. Simple pay tables equal more predictable results. Before you play any machine, ask yourself one critical question. Am I playing for entertainment and extended time, or am I gambling for one massive life-changing win? That single question should determine which machines you even consider. Let me tell you about a player I'll call Victor. Victor had a $400 weekly slot budget. Every Friday night, Victor would come in and immediately find the highest jackpot progressive on the floor. We're talking games with million-dollar-plus top prizes. Victor genuinely believed that if he played long enough on high jackpot games, he'd eventually hit big and solve all his financial problems. Over 6 months, I documented Victor's play patterns. He deposited approximately $9,600 total. His largest single win was $750. His total returns were approximately $3,200. Victor lost $6,400 in 6 months chasing jackpots his bankroll couldn't support. He was playing the wrong machines for his financial reality. If Victor had played medium volatility games with reasonable hit frequency, he might have broken even or experienced minimal losses while enjoying significantly more entertainment time. The machine type you choose matters more than almost any other decision you make. High volatility isn't bad, and low volatility isn't good. They're different tools for different situations. Playing high volatility with insufficient bankroll is financial suicide. Here's your action step. Before you sit down, ask casino staff or check online resources about a game's volatility. If you have limited budget, avoid progressive jackpots and seek games with frequent bonus triggers and smaller top prizes. Save the high volatility games for when you have surplus bankroll you're genuinely comfortable losing completely. Reason number 2. You're betting the wrong amount for your bankroll, and bad math destroys you faster than bad luck. Your bet size controls everything about your session. How long you play, your probability of catching bonuses, and how quickly you can lose everything. As a supervisor, I watched this pattern every single night. Someone walks in with $60, bets $3 or $4 per spin, and wonders why they're broke in 15 minutes. It's not bad luck. It's mathematical inevitability. The fix is what I call the 1% rule. Never bet more than 1% of your total bankroll on a single spin. This means if you bring $200, your maximum bet is $2 per spin. If you have $50, your maximum is 50 cents. If you have $1,000, your max is $10. This rule accomplishes one thing casinos desperately want to prevent. It gives you time. Time to hit bonuses. Time for variance to fluctuate in your favor. Time to make rational decisions instead of desperate ones. Then there's the 100 spin test. If your bankroll can't survive 100 spins at your chosen bet size, you're betting too high. Period. Do the math right now. Take your total slot budget. Divide by 100. That number is your safe bet size. If you're betting more than that, you're in the danger zone where a normal cold streak obliterates you. Here's what most players don't understand about RTP. Return to player. Higher denomination machines almost always offer better RTP than penny slots. A dollar machine might have 94% RTP, while a penny machine might only offer 86% RTP. That's an 8 percentage point difference that compounds dramatically over time. But here's the critical balance. Better RTP means nothing if you can't afford enough spins to reach that statistical average. If you only have $100 and you play $5 spins, you get 20 spins. That's not enough volume for RTP to matter. You're just gambling on pure variance with terrible math. The sweet spot for most players, quarters to dollars. If you have $200, playing 50-cent to $1 bets gives you 200 to 400 spins. That's adequate volume to potentially catch bonuses while getting better RTP than penny slots. Reason number 3. You believe slot myths, and these false beliefs cost you real money. As a casino supervisor, I can tell you definitively, most players don't lose to mathematics. They lose to mythology. This machine is due. They tighten the games on weekends. My player's card makes me lose more. Every single one of these beliefs is completely false, and believing them makes you emotional instead of strategic. Every spin on every slot machine is controlled by a random number generator, an RNG. This is a computer chip generating thousands of random number sequences per second. The instant you press spin, the RNG locks in your result. The spinning reels you see? Pure animation. Theater. The outcome was determined before the reels even started moving. This means several critical truths. Machines don't get hot or cold. Every spin has identical probability to every other spin. The machine has no memory. It doesn't know it just paid a jackpot or hasn't paid in hours. Time and day don't matter. The RNG doesn't know if it's Tuesday morning or Saturday night. It doesn't care about peak hours or slow periods. The math never changes. Your player's card doesn't affect outcomes. The card tracks your play for comp purposes. It has zero connection to the RNG. You're not flagged or targeted. That's paranoid mythology. You can't predict patterns. Watching a machine and trying to identify when it's ready to hit is no different than thinking you can predict dice rolls by observing previous rolls. Pure gambler's fallacy. Let me tell you about a player named Denise who absolutely believed in machine patterns. Denise had this elaborate system where she'd watch machines for 20 minutes before playing. If she saw someone lose consistently, she'd swoop in immediately after they left, convinced the machine was loaded and ready to pay. Over 3 months, I tracked Denise's results because her behavior was so textbook for myth believers. She played approximately 40 hours and deposited about $5,200. Her returns totaled approximately $2,800. She lost $2,400 chasing a pattern that mathematically doesn't exist. The tragic part? Denise would have lost less money if she'd randomly selected machines instead of wasting time observing patterns. Her observation system actually cost her additional money by keeping her in the casino longer and exposing her to more house edge. Here's the truth that casinos train staff never to articulate directly. Believing in patterns makes you play longer, bet more emotionally, and chase losses more aggressively. The myths don't just cost you money directly. They cost you money by degrading your decision-making quality. The fix: accept that every spin is random. Stop looking for patterns that don't exist. Stop watching machines trying to predict outcomes. Make decisions based on mathematics. Bankroll size, bet sizing, time limits, loss limits, not on superstition. Reason number 4. You don't leave when you're ahead. And this single discipline failure converts winning sessions into devastating losses. As a casino supervisor, this was the most heartbreaking mistake I witnessed repeatedly. A player hits an $800 bonus. Lights flash. Friends cheer. Instead of cashing out and leaving, they spin again, and again, and again. Within 2 hours, the entire $800 plus their original bankroll is gone. This isn't greed, though it looks like it. This is dopamine manipulation. The same neurochemical that makes winning exciting also convinces you that walking away feels wrong, feels premature, feels like you're leaving money on the table. The casino doesn't have to force you to keep playing. Your own brain chemistry does that job perfectly. The casino just has to keep providing stimulation. Sounds, lights, near misses, small wins, and your dopamine system keeps you engaged. Here's the fix that actually works. Set evaluation checkpoints before you start playing. These are predetermined decision points where you stop and genuinely evaluate whether to continue. Examples: if you double your starting bankroll, you stop and evaluate. Maybe you cash out completely. Maybe you pocket the original bankroll and play only with profits. But you consciously decide instead of autopiloting. If you lose 20% of your bankroll, you stop and evaluate. Are you still having fun? Is this entertainment expense you're comfortable with? Or are you chasing losses emotionally? If you hit any bonus over $200, you stop and evaluate. This doesn't mean you must quit. It means you consciously consider quitting instead of mindlessly continuing. The key word is evaluation. You're not necessarily leaving. You're breaking the trance state and making a conscious decision. Here's advanced strategy. Make winning physical. If you hit a significant win, immediately walk to the cashier cage. Cash out partially or completely. Hand money to your companion for safekeeping. Put it in your car. Remove it from the gaming floor physically. Because the instant cash leaves the floor, you've protected that profit. It's no longer at risk. You've created a guaranteed win from that session regardless of what happens next. Let me tell you about a player named Marcus who perfectly exemplified this mistake. Marcus came in one Saturday with $300. Within 90 minutes, Marcus hit a Dragon Link grand jackpot for $4,800. Incredible win. Life-changing money for Marcus's financial situation. Marcus cashed the ticket, walked around celebrating for 15 minutes, then sat back down at another Dragon Link machine. From the supervisor station, I watched what happened next over the following 4 hours. Marcus played progressively larger bets, riding the emotional high of his jackpot win. He played $5 spins, then $8 spins, then $15 spins. He was playing with house money, which is a mental accounting fallacy. Money is money regardless of its source. By 1 a.m., Marcus had lost the entire $4,800 plus his original $300. He left the casino having lost $300 despite hitting a $4,800 jackpot earlier. If Marcus had simply cashed out and left after that jackpot, he'd have walked away with a $4,500 profit. Instead, lack of discipline converted a massive win into a loss. This pattern repeats constantly. Players hit significant wins, experience euphoria, keep playing, and systematically return everything to the casino. The win becomes meaningless because they lacked the discipline to protect it. Reason number 5. You play while frustrated, and emotional gambling destroys your strategy completely. This is the final and perhaps most psychologically dangerous mistake. Playing when you're frustrated, tired, angry, or trying desperately to win it back. As supervisors, we could identify this instantly. The body language was unmistakable. Slumped posture, heavy sighing, that finger hovering over the spin button just slightly too long, that 1,000-yard stare. These players weren't having fun. They were engaging in financial self-harm. When emotions hijack your decision-making, strategy disappears entirely. You start making irrational choices, betting more than your bankroll supports, trying to recover losses faster, playing machines you normally wouldn't consider, ignoring time limits and bankroll limits you'd previously set, refusing to leave despite feeling miserable. The casino didn't create this emotional state, but they've engineered every detail of the environment to exploit it. Every sound effect, every lighting choice, every near miss is designed to keep you engaged when rational thought would say, leave. Here's the fix: the 5-minute reset rule. When you feel tilted, frustrated, or desperate, you stop playing immediately. Not after this spin or after this bonus. Immediately. You walk away from the machine, go outside, get water, call a friend. Clear your head completely. You're not quitting. You're resetting your emotional state. If after 5 minutes you feel genuinely calm and ready to play strategically, you can return. But most of the time, that 5-minute break reveals that you should have left an hour ago. Here are warning signs you should learn to recognize in yourself. Thinking, I need to win this back, instead of, am I having fun? Increasing bet sizes because you're frustrated, feeling angry at the machine, the casino, or yourself. Playing past your predetermined time or loss limits. Borrowing money or hitting ATMs when you've exhausted your original budget. Any of these signals means stop immediately. The session is already over emotionally, even if you're still physically sitting there. Let me tell you about a player named Sarah, who showed me the absolute worst-case scenario of emotional gambling. Sarah was a regular who normally played responsibly. She'd come in with $200, play for 2 or 3 hours, sometimes win, sometimes lose, always stayed within her limits. One Thursday evening, Sarah arrived visibly upset. I later learned she'd had a terrible day at work. Within 30 minutes, Sarah lost her normal $200 budget. Instead of leaving as she normally would, she went to the ATM. Then another ATM. Then another. Over 4 hours, I documented Sarah withdrawing $1,700 in ATM cash advances. She was playing frantically, betting amounts she'd never bet before, switching machines constantly. There was zero strategy, pure emotional desperation. Sarah finally left at midnight, having lost approximately $1,900 total. For context, her normal weekly budget was $200, and she normally played once or twice monthly. In one emotional session, she lost nearly 10 weeks' worth of normal entertainment budget. The next week, Sarah returned and apologized to me personally, which was unnecessary. She explained that she'd been so upset about work that she'd used gambling as emotional escape instead of entertainment. Once she started losing, the frustration compounded, and she entered a chasing spiral that violated every principle of responsible gambling she normally followed. That single emotional session cost Sarah more than 6 months of careful, responsible gambling would have cost. This is why emotional control is absolutely essential. One frustrated session can obliterate months of disciplined play. Now, let's discuss how to actually profit, or, at minimum, how to minimize losses and maximize entertainment value from your slot playing. Strategy 1. Machine selection based on bankroll reality. Match volatility to your financial situation. If you have limited bankroll, choose low to medium volatility games with frequent small wins. Games like Quick Hit, Triple Red Hot, Double Diamond Classics. These won't make you rich, but they'll give you time and entertainment. If you have substantial bankroll you're genuinely comfortable losing completely, then high-volatility progressive jackpot games become viable. But be honest with yourself about what comfortable losing actually means. If losing that money would cause genuine financial stress, you don't have surplus bankroll for high-volatility games. Strategy 2. Denomination and RTP optimization. Play the highest denomination your bankroll can support for adequate spin count. If you have $300, playing $1 games with $1 to $2 bets gives you 150 to 300 spins. That's adequate volume with better RTP than penny slots. Avoid penny slots entirely if possible. The RTP is genuinely worse, often 6% to 8% worse than dollar denominations. That difference compounds dramatically over time. Strategy 3. The complete bankroll management system. This is your complete financial framework. Total bankroll. The maximum you'll bring to the casino for this session. Absolutely no ATM visits once this is gone. 1% rule. Never bet more than 1% of total bankroll per spin. 100 spin minimum. Ensure your bet size allows minimum 100 spins, preferably 200. Loss limit. Predetermined maximum loss, typically 20% to 30% of total bankroll. When hit, leave immediately. Win limit. Predetermined profit target, typically 30% to 50% of total bankroll. When hit, evaluate seriously whether to continue or cash out. Time limit. Maximum session duration, typically 60 to 90 minutes. When time expires, finish current spin and evaluate whether to continue. Write these numbers down before entering the casino. Put them in your phone. Make them concrete and visible, not vague intentions. Strategy 4. The physical separation technique. When you win meaningfully, let's say anything over 3 times your average bet, immediately do something physical with that money. Cash out and put it in a separate pocket. Give it to your companion. Walk it to your car. Remove it from the gaming floor entirely. This creates psychological separation between money I'm willing to risk and money I've won that's now protected. Without this physical separation, all money feels the same, and you'll risk everything. Strategy 5. Understanding and exploiting comps intelligently. Your player's card tracks your coin-in, total amount wagered, and calculates your theoretical loss based on your play pattern and the machine's RTP. Comps are awarded as a percentage of theo, typically 20% to 35%. This means you should absolutely use your player's card on every spin. It costs you nothing. The card doesn't affect RTP or outcomes, and it earns you free food, hotel rooms, free play credits. But understand comp timing. When the casino offers you comps while you're playing, they're trying to extend your session. That's not generous hospitality. That's behavioral manipulation. The optimal strategy: accept the comp, but use it as your signal to cash out rather than continue playing. Strategy 6. Location awareness for machine selection. Avoid machines in high-traffic convenience locations, near entrances, exits, cashier cages, restrooms. These typically have 2% to 4% lower RTP than the same games in better locations. Seek machines in crossroads areas with high visibility or in secondary moderate traffic zones. These often have the best RTP because the casino wants visible wins in those locations to attract other players. Strategy 7. Psychological manipulation awareness. Recognize near misses for what they are. Programmed psychological tools designed to make you think you're close to winning when you're not. Near misses predict nothing about future spins. Recognize losses disguised as wins. LDW, where the machine celebrates even though you lost money. Ignore the celebration. Track only your actual credit balance. Recognize comp timing as retention strategy. Comps appear when the casino detects you're about to leave. Use that as your signal to actually leave. Strategy 8. The hit-and-run methodology. This is your only realistic path to leaving ahead consistently. Play for limited time, typically 60 to 90 minutes maximum. Set your win and loss limits before playing. When you hit either limit, evaluate seriously whether to continue. More often than not, the right decision is to leave. Time is your enemy. The longer you play, the more certainly mathematics grinds you down. Short sessions with strict limits give you the best probability of catching favorable variance and leaving before it reverses. Let me tell you about a player named Linda who exemplified intelligent slot play. Linda came in monthly with $400. She played exclusively medium volatility games, bet $1 to $2 per spin, and had absolute iron discipline about her limits. Linda's rules: if she doubled her money to $800, she immediately cashed out and left. If she lost $150, 37.5% of bankroll, she immediately left. Her typical session lasted 60 to 75 minutes. Over 18 months that I tracked her, Linda deposited approximately $7,200 total. Her returns were approximately $6,400. She lost $1,000 over 18 months, which represents approximately $55 monthly average cost for entertainment. For context, most regular players lose 15% to 25% of their total deposits over similar time frames. Linda's 14% loss rate was exceptional, achieved purely through disciplined machine selection, bankroll management, and exit discipline. Linda proves that while you can't beat slots mathematically long-term, you can minimize losses dramatically and occasionally walk away ahead by playing intelligently. Let's summarize the 5 reasons you lose money at slots and how to fix them. Reason 1. Playing wrong machines. Fix it by matching volatility to your bankroll. Low bankroll equals low volatility games. Substantial bankroll equals freedom to play higher volatility. Reason 2. Betting wrong amount. Fix it with the 1% rule and 100 spin minimum. Never bet more than 1% of bankroll per spin. Reason 3. Believing myths. Fix it by accepting RNG reality. Every spin is random and independent. Machines don't get hot or cold. Patterns don't exist. Reason 4. Not leaving when ahead. Fix it with evaluation checkpoints and physical separation. Make winning tangible by removing cash from the floor. Reason 5. Playing while frustrated. Fix it with the 5-minute reset rule. When you feel tilted, stop immediately and clear your head. Here's the ultimate truth. The house always has mathematical edge. You cannot beat slots long-term, But you can play intelligently, minimize losses, and occasionally walk away ahead. The difference between smart players and everyone else isn't luck. It's discipline. It's understanding mathematics. It's managing emotions. It's playing the long game instead of chasing instant gratification. Most players lose because they make these 5 mistakes repeatedly. They play wrong machines, bet wrong amounts, believe myths, stay too long after winning, and play emotionally instead of strategically. Every one of these mistakes is fixable with awareness and discipline. If you found this valuable, I need 3 actions from you immediately. First, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm continuing to expose casino industry secrets and practical strategies for smarter gambling. This information isn't taught anywhere else, and casinos would prefer it stayed hidden. Second, share this video. Send it to anyone who plays slots. Post it in gambling communities. Share on social media. The more players who understand these 5 mistakes, the better equipped everyone becomes to play intelligently. Third, watch this video here where I reveal the specific slot machines with the best RTP at major casino brands and exactly where those machines are typically positioned on the floor. Before you go, the mandatory legal disclaimer. If you or someone you know is struggling with gambling addiction, seek professional help immediately. Contact the National Council on Problem Gambling at 1-800-522-4700. Available 24 hours daily. This video is educational. I'm not encouraging gambling. I'm educating existing gamblers about common mistakes and smarter strategies. Slots should always be treated as entertainment expense, never as income opportunity or investment. You're paying for entertainment. The house has mathematical edge in every game. Accept that reality, then decide whether the entertainment value justifies the cost. If you go to casinos expecting to profit long-term, you fundamentally misunderstand probability mathematics. But if you understand these 5 mistakes and fix them, you dramatically improve your experience. You lose less money, you get more entertainment time, you occasionally walk away ahead. You play on your terms instead of the casino's terms. The 5 reasons are yours now. The solutions are yours now. Use them intelligently. Match machines to bankroll. Bet within the 1% rule. Reject mythology. Leave when ahead. Never play frustrated. Set limits and enforce them with absolute discipline. The casino is built to win mathematically, but informed, disciplined players minimize that edge significantly. You can't eliminate house advantage, but you can avoid amplifying it through these 5 preventable mistakes. Play smart, maintain discipline, and remember, the only profit in gambling comes from discipline, not luck.